You're born with all the eggs you're going to ever have. And by the time you reach 30, 86% of your egg reserve is gone.
Why do we not discuss it before we get to that stage in our life?
She told me, don't even think about it till you're 30. 50% of infertility comes from men.
She had a different partner and she got pregnant right away. I was like,
He was always the problem.
Hello guys and welcome back to the Coffee Club, the coffee date you don't cancel.
Today, we have a guest with us. Isn't it crazy that most women know more about their skincare than their fertility?
It's crazy to me, honestly.
And today's guest is trying to change that. After experiencing firsthand how complicated fertility can be, she has created OvaSave. It is a company helping women take control of their reproductive system and hormonal health through education, technology, and access to care. Please welcome to the Coffee Club,
Torkia Mahloul! Woo!
Thank you guys for having me. I'm very excited to have this conversation with you actually.
I am so excited. You know I'm excited when I put down this card. I want to dive straight into it. When Nadia told me that we have the honour of hosting you, I was so excited. It's a topic that I've spoken to Nadia about several times, and you've also spoken to me about it. And it's something that I feel can be taboo. Women, we don't really speak a lot about fertility. I mean, I can't remember growing up, my friends just sitting down with me and speaking to me about fertility. It's not something that you speak about unless you're trying to have a child or you're thinking about having a child. But why do we not discuss it before we get to that stage in our life?
Yeah, something that we know from education, our background with family is like fertility is completely missing. And to me, it seems it's almost like there is an unsaid a plan for women, like finishing school, getting married, having kids, and somehow we went off rails and we building different paths for ourselves than our moms were followed before, and actually we're not prepared for what's happening with the biological clock, and that conversation is missing in different parts of our lives, but also at work. And I'm so happy that now online it's finally happening. So let's drive it, guys.
Yeah, we talked about you being a pioneer. And for anyone who hasn't heard of OvaSave, what is it and why did you create it?
So OvaSave is a platform, not a clinic, but a platform that offers women digital solutions to navigate fertility and now perimenopause and menopause. And the way it was built is to bring together like expert care and also tools such as supplements and other cool features that we have embedded in our app to educate women and get them almost onto the right path, but proactively, because most of these women, including myself, came to that journey reactively when the problem was already there. So going back to me, a few years ago when I was 34, I just started a new job in Dubai, and a friend of mine, not a doctor, but a friend, convinced me to take a fertility test, which we called AMH, and tells you how many eggs you have left in your ovaries.
That's crazy. I've never
even
heard
of
of that
that
abbreviation.
I was the same.
So uneducated to it.
So it seems like we know how to make a baby in theory, but nobody tells you that things can get complicated because actually you're born with all the eggs you're going to ever have. And by the time you reach 30, 86% of your egg reserve is gone. And there is no symptom. There is no, like you have your period, like everything is normal. But biologically, you're meant to have kids in your 20s. And we're defeating that plan because now it's happening later on. And those conversations are not happening with our doctors, with our family. And somehow a friend did me a huge favor because she dragged me to take that test. And it happened that my egg reserve was extremely low. Now I'm okay because I completed 5 rounds of egg freezing.
Oh,
Wow.
Thank you, guys, in 2 years. But it came at a cost, because a financial one, because 5 rounds gets expensive. But also a mental one, because when you get that news, you freak out. And I remember hiding in a room in the office, crying, calling clinics, not knowing what to do. And I couldn't even tell my manager, actually, I'm going through something. I need to take a couple of hours to sort out that. It's like you have to do it and you're rushing because you felt like the ship has sailed. So it was a very difficult time of my life. But I was lucky enough to meet my co-founder while going through that. And he helped me sort it out. But I realized that not every woman is as fortunate to get the help that I got. And another realization was I started too late. You said it, you didn't know what was AMH. I didn't. Had I known at the age of 28, I would have maybe gone onto that path earlier, and it would have taken me fewer rounds to get to the same number of eggs that I wanted. And that's what inspired me to build OvaSave, to transform the journey where women are in the pilot seat. They get the information, they get the screening, they have access to experts, they ask the right questions early on, and then they can make decisions for themselves, knowing that egg freezing is not something that I promote to everybody, but if the option is on the table and if you want it, do it early on. So that's the spirit about how this all started.
Beautiful. Honestly, what a beautiful initiative, because I feel like I'm in that time of my life, like no husband, no like I haven't been prepared to have children. So I always talk to Layla about this. I'm like, Layla, but how old were you when you got married? And how old were you when you started to try to have kids? Because I feel like that ship is sailing. Sometimes I hold myself back. I'm like, look, you're young and technology has changed and you're healthy, alhamdulillah. But then sometimes I look at like what people are saying online and they're like, by 25 you should start doing this, and I'm like, wait, I'm late, like what do I do?
I should have brought an AMH test for you. I would have tested you on the spot, because we sell that on a kit, and you prick yourself and collect a blood sample. And it's like, instead of, because that no OB/GYN recommended that test for me, so instead of sending women to their doctors and sometimes they're dismissing them, sometimes they give you the test. It's like you order it, it gets to your place, you collect your blood sample, somebody will come collect it, and you receive your results on your dashboard. So you feel completely in control of the process. Wow. And I'm going to give you one after the podcast.
This is incredible. As you're speaking, I honestly have goosebumps, because the fact that you don't have a clinic and everything is a platform online is incredible, because the woman is really in the pilot seat. Yeah. She's able
It's easily accessible.
It's easily accessible. Yeah. It's less daunting, because going into a clinic, your anxiety is already through the roof. Mm-hmm. But the fact that you can do it from the comfort of your own home.
With a friend. With a friend. An AMH party.
Exactly. Girl, you're invited to my AMH party.
No, I feel like this would actually be a really cool event that we could do.
I have so many friends that I would love for them to do this, because we're a group of girls, we're single, we're like late 20s
or like early 30s or like late 30s.
Perfect timing. And let's do it.
Honestly, I would love to do this.
Me too.
I'll bring the cupcakes.
Oh my
you
God.
bring the AMH test.
I'm coming, guys.
What are you bringing?
I'm
the coffee.
I'm bringing my finger to prick.
Ovaries to be tested.
Exactly. It's true, because I went to a gynecologist maybe a year ago when the idea of like freezing eggs came into my life and my space, and she told me, like, don't even think about it till you're 30. Like, when you're 30, come back to me, then we can start having this discussion. I don't know what that means, if it's true. I thought like the earlier the better. But
I think what's interesting about that process is like OB/GYNs have that approach, which is not necessarily wrong, but like you need to try conceiving for a certain time before they refer you to a fertility specialist. So they're not fertility specialists, they're OB/GYNs. Right. But women like us who are single have never tried conceiving. So how would we know that things are okay? Secondly, like things are okay 1 year, and then the next year your egg reserve is low. And there is no way to track how things are declining. We know that in your 30s, the egg quantity and the egg quality are getting worse. But at which rate, nobody can predict that. You're not late, and 30 is actually the right age. But being able to explain why we're testing, what we're testing, what you should be considering early on is just a way for women to like not wake up at 38, 40 and realize, oh, there is not much you can do because your egg reserve is almost gone. Like it's more about not creating fear, but empowerment, because it's sometimes I've seen women, including my friends, and saying, I don't want to know.
It's almost like it's better if I don't know.
Doesn't hurt you.
Exactly. Actually, sometimes I feel like that myself. Like I can relate to the feeling. I'm like, I'll just try when I need to try, but do I need to know right now? But it's almost nice to hear this, because it feels like a sign. Like if you're listening to this,
well, I mean, I can relate to that. So after I had my son, I thought to myself, I've had children late in life. I was 30 years old when I gave birth to my son, and I remember thinking, by my age, my mom had 4 kids. So I'm really behind now. And I look at the age gap of me and my mum and I'm like, oh my God, but this is kind of like the age gap I want to have with my kids. So now I need to have a kid back to back to back to back.
Yeah.
And it took me 2 years or 3 years actually to get pregnant with my daughter. And I just thought to myself, what's wrong? Like, what's happening with my body? And I didn't go and get checked because I was scared of whatever the results would be.
Yeah.
And I was just telling myself, no, everything's fine. But I never checked. And now I think to myself, I'm like, I would love to have a third child, but I would definitely go and check now.
Absolutely. I think, well, correct me if I'm wrong, but now more than ever, women are having more difficulty with being fertile. I've seen like a lot of my friends who didn't even know that, for example, their ferritin was low and that's why they couldn't get pregnant. So there's a lot of things in our body that we don't understand from like a...
Especially we have so many friends that have PCOS.
Yeah, that's another thing that's...
This is another huge topic.
Yeah. And it's also some of the like conditions that we address on the platform through, again, expert care, supplements, because something that we're not told, but 80% of women at some point experience a hormonal issue, like imbalance. It doesn't have necessarily a relation to fertility, but a lot of the times it impacts fertility. PCOS is a hormonal issue, and now the new term is PMOS, and it shows even how the understanding of the condition has evolved to something different that's related to your overall like body. And for two women who have PMOS, things can be different, symptoms can be different, and outcomes can be different as well. And the key takeaway is when you think about hormones and women, I asked around me, every single person almost that I know have a story. You said your friend with the breast, and it shows that a lot of the times we shy to ask, like maybe it's normal, it's just me. And if we don't ask those questions, then we don't get to make the decisions or take the treatments that we need early on. There is an aspect of fear, you said it, and I relate to that big time. But after going through the entire process, I'm so happy I knew. Like, there was a moment of total freak out. And then when you take things in your hands and you do one round of increasing, like, okay, that was not that bad. And then second, third, you start enjoying it.
Actually,
wow, let's do more.
I'm on 5. Let's keep it going.
Yeah, you start counting the eggs and enjoying the anesthesia. Like, sleep. So I don't want to sound too positive about the journey, because it is difficult. But at the end of the day, like, not knowing, not asking, not fighting for your rights to get the best treatments that are available. There is technology, but technology is like, sometimes they cannot just do miracles. So if you get access to those technologies and solutions like early on, like, that will get you the best outcome in your journey.
Absolutely. Like, going back to a little bit of women's health, I didn't know till maybe 2 years ago that period cramps are not normal. I just thought, everyone gets period, and you know how bad mine are.
Her body seizes up. Her hands freeze.
Yeah, my hands just freeze. It's crazy. I'm on the journey of like trying to figure out what that even means.
Okay.
But I swear to God, like, when my hands froze like this and you can't take them apart, it was almost like my body was seizing. Then that's when I woke up. I'm like, maybe this level of pain is not normal.
Yeah.
But even before that, I was having like pain that I wasn't able to move. I was throwing up, and I just thought, it's fine. Like, women get cramps, they throw up, they get hot flushes. That's normal. Yeah. Until I started telling my friends, like, guys, I'm always like throwing up. I'm getting these I don't know what's happening.
And I told her, I said,
like, it's not normal.
Periods are not supposed to be painful. It's like, you're supposed to experience like mild cramping, but to the level that you experience it is not normal at all. Yeah,
so it goes to show that, like, really, unless you speak about it and have a platform that addresses it, it's almost impossible, because sometimes you just don't even want to think about it, or life is just so fast. In that moment, I'm like, I'm in pain. An hour later, I'm not in pain. Khalas, move on. You know? It's hard to remember that, like, maybe this is something I should check on.
Yeah, I think it's unconscious, but we've been taught that pain is part of our lives. Like, it's just normalized. You have to suck it up.
Yeah.
And it's periods. What did you expect?
Yeah.
And it's funny. Like, now there are countries, I think it's Spain, that has given like period leave as part of their benefit. But
amazing,
if you think about it, like they tell you the period cramps sometimes are so bad. It's harder than a heart attack.
Yes.
It's like, and you're sitting
Oh,
there.
she's like, I can relate, Muskina. Yeah.
And we there thinking like, we
Yeah,
have
we're
to
just
go
like,
to
oh,
the
this
gym,
is-
you have to work, you have to do your groceries, you have to...
With
like,
a smile on your face.
Yeah.
And be pleasant.
Yeah.
And be polite and be grateful and still carry on being very
Yeah.
feminine and nice.
And if you have a moment, there is a colleague telling you you're PMSing or what.
Exactly.
Like, can you imagine?
That makes me so angry.
Oh, is it the time of the month?
We put in a framework where we have to accept all of that. And it's good to find a community where like, no, actually I'm dying.
Yeah.
And other women validating
Yeah.
that you're dying and you shouldn't be dying. I think that's it's good
so
to see
important.
that.
I love that.
I wanted to ask you, what made you start a platform rather than open a clinic?
I think clinics are great and doctors are amazing in what they do and in providing treatment and care. And honestly, I had great doctors supporting me during my egg freezing journey. But if you think about it, they're not there to educate and handhold you into the process and tell you, no, you should go test now and all of that. They're busy. They see a patient, for about 10, 15 minutes sometimes. And as good as they are, like they're not there for mental support or for addressing your deep concerns about the process and all of that. So they'll give you a medical answer and they'll be great at getting the eggs extracted and frozen. So I felt there is like a big gap in navigation, in also financing for these treatments that could be very expensive. So we're solving for access to care, like by providing the education, the navigation, because we have like an amazing team that be there answering like your questions around the clock, guiding you to the right clinic, finding the right doctor for you, and also helping you find a solution to finance the treatment. So we launched the first egg freezing subscription program in the region.
Wow.
Because no bank, no buy now, pay later option wanted to finance for that amount and for like the duration that women wanted. So now you can freeze your eggs today and pay for the next 3 years like about 500 dirham per month.
Wow.
So it's like
That is
your monthly blow dry, your...
Honestly, I spend more on coffee
Yeah,
a month,
exactly.
honestly. And like you said, you touch base on the support. Support is so important.
Yeah.
People really underestimate how much you need a support system, especially when it's something like this and it's such a touchy subject.
Yeah, and I spoke to women myself and some of them got to go through the process after hearing my story. Some, like a doctor won't tell you what it feels to go through it. They'll explain like, okay, you're going to take this injection on that day. This is their job. But
It's very logical.
yeah,
Right?
and women want to know, okay, was it painful?
Yeah.
Like, were you bloated? Did you put on weight? Like, they want the real
emotion,
experience.
yeah,
I want you to sit me down and tell me everything. And I want to bounce questions off of you and not feel like I'm on a time constraint.
Yeah. Did you go to work?
Yeah.
Was it okay? Like, can you go to the gym? Like all of these things that, again, doctor will give a generic advice, but you as a person who went through it, you can give something that's relatable and reassure them that, okay, you'll be happy when it's done. And that's what we provide.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I actually can relate. One of my really good friends came to me recently. She's 34, and she was like, I want to do the egg freezing, but one, is it just a business? Like, are they just trying to like take my money? Two, is it going to affect how I look? Like, she was very afraid of like the bloating and all of these things. And I was like, girl, you're asking the wrong person.
You're like, I have no information
Now
or
I'm going to
knowledge
tell her,
on
go
this.
to OvaSave.
Yeah. And actually, you have to tell her it's a business. Like, let's not fool
Everything is.
like each other. Like, there is a part that's about making money. But I think what's important is having access to a platform where the information is provided to you transparently. You have access to prices. You can compare. You can like make that decision after you gathered all the information. And if you feel like it's for you, then we'll support you. But obviously there are women who say, I don't want kids. And that's fair too. And there is no judgment involved in that.
With that, what do you think are some of the biggest myths about egg freezing?
I think one of the biggest myth is like it's a surgery. It's something complicated and invasive.
Okay, I thought
It's not invasive.
Is
I honestly thought
it's
it
not
was.
a surgery. It's a procedure, and I think it's important to
Distinguish.
It's a 2-week procedure, and during that 2 week, basically there is like hormonal injection that you self-administer at home to help you grow a certain number of eggs. But at the end of it, it's a 15-minute procedure. Like I've suffered more at the hands of a dentist than in that room. Because one, you're sleeping, and so you're under sedation. It's a vaginal retrieval in most of cases, in case you don't want a vaginal retrieval for like cultural reasons related to virginity and all of that. Basically, when you wake up, there is a bunch of painkiller, but looks like in most cases having period cramps.
Okay.
So, and the bloating is there, but it dissipates after like a few days. So it looks like a big decision. But actually, it's like,
not.
it's really like one of the safest procedure. Like, we all inject ourselves with a million things.
Peptides. People are doing Ozempic. Like, there's much worse.
And I wouldn't say for vanity, but for aesthetic reasons. And here it's something related to your future. So it's not such a big deal. But women thinks it's super invasive. It's a surgery. It impacts their fertility, their future fertility when it doesn't, because the eggs that are collected during the procedure will be lost regardless. They are the eggs that you lose at every cycle. So there are a lot of like fear related to like future complications that are actually not legitimate, I would say.
You know, I actually have quite a few friends that have done egg freezing.
Wow.
And let's say around 5 of them have successfully become pregnant after. A majority of them have just decided to be single mothers. Have decided that they can't find a partner. Apparently dating nowadays is crazy. It makes me wonder, do you think that modern dating has had an impact on fertility now? Or fertility planning, I would say.
Big time.
Yeah.
It's funny you saying that. I've read recently like a survey done by Morgan Stanley, and apparently by 2030, like 50% of women between the age of 22 and 45 will be single. It's a different society than 15, 20 years ago where you know, you meet somebody in school or at work, and then by 28 you're married, 30 you have your first child, and it's the like classic path. I think things have evolved, and women are aspiring to more.
Yeah.
Dating is definitely different, and I'm not talking only about Dubai. I'm talking about like in general, as you get older, you know yourself better.
Yeah, you have boundaries. You know
Standards.
we talk about this a lot. We understand what we're willing and we're not willing to accept. We don't want to settle. We have so much more prepared for ourselves, and we strive for more.
And your expectations are different, and obviously finding a partner is very important when you start a family. And I think, yes, it has impacted the way women approach their fertility. Now, obviously, there are different stories, but you see women not wanting to settle and thinking egg freezing is giving them a sense of control, even though egg freezing is not a guarantee of future pregnancy, but it increases your chances.
Yeah.
So you feel that you don't want to have a family just for the sake of having a family. Another thing that I find interesting is women and men having fewer children because they feel like everything is expensive.
Yeah.
You don't feel like you want to bring children in a world where you cannot give them the best that they can need to in the future. So there are many reasons why we approach motherhood and family differently. And then that drives us to delay having children. And then more people going into IVF and egg freezing because they need support to get pregnant. And that's the reality we live in today. And now the new reality would be to know that from the age of 20, 25, that, there is a big chance for me to have children at 35 and above. So why not start my egg freezing journey now, because I'll get the best quality eggs, the highest number. The times have changed. Now it's mentality that are catching up.
For everyone listening to this, there's no rush to have children. But like you said, knowing your egg count in your 20s, I think would be an incredible decision for people to take. They would have more confidence in knowing that I've collected healthier eggs now, and in your 30s you know yourself better. That relationship that you're in your 20s might not be the relationship for you, because Layla in her 20s is a completely different Layla to who I am now. If I settled for the partner I was with in my 20s, I just know my mum's going to watch this and be very happy that I am not with the person I was with in my 20s. And you change so much as a person. I mean, we shed our skin. Is it every 5 years or something? You're a completely new person every 7 years. Having that confidence and that reassurance that you know your body and you've done these checks on yourself is not something that we should be scared or embarrassed about, but more something that we should encourage each other to do.
So that you don't, just so that you don't end up settling. Because for me, if I was in such a rush, maybe I would have settled for the wrong person. I find that
I feel like we put so much pressure on ourselves when we think, oh, but look, time's ticking. This guy, I'm kind of speaking to him, and this relationship's, it's okay. It's not perfect or ideal, but this is the person I'm with, and time's ticking, so I'm going to end up settling and being with this person. But that's not the case. There are so many different options for women now.
Yeah, and what we forget when you said actually sometimes we will force a relationship or settle just because we've been, I wouldn't say brainwashed, but conditioned to think that fertility is a woman's responsibility.
Exactly.
While actually 50% of infertility comes from men.
I read this recently. Yeah.
And the thing is they don't have a biological clock, we do.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So men produce sperm throughout their lives, but they might have issues with their sperm and be able to work through it because they continue producing sperm. We're born with a reserve and it declines. And because of that, we think that we carry the burden of fertility, while actually it's a shared burden. And you might end up settling with the wrong guy, with the wrong sperm counts.
Exactly. And then what? Girl, your eggs were perfect. Your eggs are great. He's the problem.
So we need to do what's best for us and protect our fertility for future. But I think what's important is also to involve them in that discussion. They need to be tested. And very often, they'll do all of the tests on you and screen you. And then they'll think, okay, everything is normal. Now we're going to move on to the partner. So it's important that partners are considered into this equation, because it takes literally two.
That's amazing, because I will put my hands up and say that didn't even cross my mind. You never think about your partner and having them tested. You automatically just take on that burden. And I would have thought up until just 5 seconds ago that it's all on me.
And you might try for 6 months, a year, 2 years sometimes, and feel like as a woman you're failing in the process, and it's your responsibility to carry a child, while actually you haven't looked at the bigger picture, the men's side, and things that sometimes even doctors cannot explain into this. So it's very important when you feel like there is a doubt to get straight to the specialist, get screened together, and that will avoid you years of struggling with trying naturally.
My friend and her ex-husband were trying to conceive for a few years. I think it was more than 3 years, and they couldn't. And then it didn't work out, and they got a divorce. And then she had a different partner, and she got pregnant right away. I was like,
he was always the problem.
God did not want you with that person. Sometimes it's just a sign that this is not your partner, maybe.
Exactly.
Yeah, you need to open another door.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I want to talk about menopause because we don't really speak about menopause. To be honest, girl, I have no idea about anything to do with menopause. Why does menopause feel like such a taboo topic?
Okay, in my view, perimenopause and menopause, because it's a journey. Again, it's not like a one-day switch. It's a transition, and this transition somehow marks also unconsciously the fact that woman has passed her phase of desirability of youth. It's related to that, to the aging discrimination that women face in the society. So you are at your prime in your 20s. In your 30s, you're kind of acceptable. And then as you get older, I think we have kind of embraced that we're less desirable or valuable as women because you cannot carry a child. You're supposedly less attractive. And I think this is the male gaze that's playing here. So why it's taboo? If you start like experiencing some symptoms, hormonal changes, and that dreaded word comes out, you feel, no, I don't want to be into this. And it's not a death sentence. It's just like, oh, I'm aging and I should be lucky because I'm embracing a new life stage. But actually, this is not how it sounds in your mind. You feel like, oh, my best years are behind me.
Yeah.
And instead of starting thinking about how do I approach that stage to be healthy, because there are risk factors that come with that stage, you almost like ignore it, dismiss it, because it reminds you that as a person, you're worthless. That's my personal opinion about why we are like avoiding the M word, while it's a very important word, because you should like do what you can to get into that life stage as healthy as possible.
Right. And I was reading that it's actually the longest hormonal transition.
Yeah.
Right?
The average age of menopause is about 52.
Okay.
It varies again, but on average it's that. And perimenopause starts typically 10 years before menopause.
Whoa.
So in your late 30s, early 40s, you getting into this. And you think some changes, but again, because I'm in that phase, I'm 38, so getting into my late 30s, early 40s, like my friends. And we see changes, but it's like, oh, we don't want to be menopause, so we almost trying to avoid it as if you could.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to come. Time keeps, it'll pass. It's going to happen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's a 10-year transition. As I said, it comes with like physical changes, but also like increased risk factors for heart disease, fractures, osteoporosis, mental health issues, cognitive decline. And there are things that you can do, actually. And instead of looking at what we can do, we're looking at how this shouldn't happen.
Right.
And this is where I think the taboo stems from. And this is what we need to change, because you need to build mass muscle, because you're losing muscles as you get older, and you need to change your nutrition and your sleep, and you need to work on your bone density, because your bone density is going to get lower, and fractures risk. And so there are so many things that we need to look at, but I think we are just focused on the wrong things, like on aging.
Yeah. And how much Botox can we get and filler just to fix that we're aging?
We actually spoke about this yesterday. We were basically talking about what can we do to maximize how beautiful we feel as people. And when we were giving advice, it all narrowed down to making sure that you're healthy, making sure that you're taking your vitamins, going to the gym, not going to the gym so you get your dream body, but going to the gym to genuinely be healthy, because this is all that you have. And people will come and go out of your life, but your biggest investment is yourself. And as you were talking about menopause and the fear of aging, and it's frowned upon that, oh, I'm getting old because now it's showing that I can actually no longer have children. I feel like our generation is outgrowing that. I don't look at women and think, oh, does she have children? It's not something that crosses my mind at all. I look at women and I more so see them trying to better themselves in their lives and not really worrying about having a family at a certain age or trying to tick this box in their life.
I'm slightly older than you, maybe even more than slightly than you, but I think that's new because in my generation, when I was in my 20s, I remember doing crazy cardio because I needed to be skinny.
Yeah.
It was the end goal. And no matter what's the cost on your health, crash diets and stuff that you pay back later on in your life. Now, I look when I go to the gym and I don't do cardio anymore, but I see women like lifting weight, being strong. And this is something I didn't grow up with. That was not the vision of the model. You had to be like
skinny and like a model, supermodel, walking down the runway like a size 0. Whereas now it's all about being strong. And when I see a woman do a pull-up, I admire her. I'm like, girl, I want to be you.
Yeah. And for me, that's new because, and especially like I grew up in France, and genetically I'm Arab, I think so. The face is confusing, but officially I am. Your body is not meant to be skinny.
We can't, honestly. We're
Sorry.
just not
It was
genetically
my
built to
dream.
be skinny. I'm so sorry.
I tried everything when I was a kid to be skinny. It's
not in
3
our
blueberries
genetics.
a day.
Exactly. So you're fighting nature, literally.
Honestly.
And again, you have the focus on the wrong place, and you can look amazing and be strong, but you choose to try to fit a certain image that was again based on the male gaze and on some media, and eventually this is not healthy. So I feel like you're right. Now there is a different image on social media, and you see these beautiful women embracing their bodies and building strength, and all of that is super cool and healthy. But I didn't grow up with that, and it sets the wrong habits early on. So that's what needs to change, and even more with the menopause conversation where this is even more critical.
Absolutely. I think it's also a cultural thing, right? Like in Paris, it's so chic to be skinny, right? And teeny tiny 0. Same in like a place like Los Angeles or maybe in Italy, Milan or something like that. Versus in other cultures, like in Morocco, it's beautiful when a woman is like voluptuous, you know? Maybe more in like African cultures, Arab cultures, it's sexy to be like a bit more like, you know, curvy versus other cultures where it's so sexy to be skinny, you know?
I agree. The thing that's interesting is like now that the menopause conversation has hit those Western countries where it was nice to be skinny, actually voices of certain celebrities that are in their 50s and the Gillos and the Halle Berrys and now you see them at 50 looking as good as like 25-year-old women, but in a way where they're not promoting like being like unhealthy skinny.
Yeah.
You can be naturally skinny, and that's fine, by the way. But it feels like now we're talking about longevity and being healthy and thriving. And this is where I think it's going to be amazing to see all of these women finally like just feeling right in their bodies and feeling healthy.
Yeah, I feel like as women, we're stepping away from wanting the male gaze.
Yeah.
Now I care more about the women gaze. I don't dress for a man to look and go, oh, she's hot. I dress for girls to be like, where did you get your outfit from? Honestly.
Yeah, that's the best compliment.
If a man compliments you, I'm honestly like,
Ew, don't talk to me.
why are you talking to us? But if a woman compliments you, we spoke about this the other day, it honestly stays with you.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So I feel like
agree.
I'm all here to push women to learn about themselves better, to encourage each other to do better, and to pour into your own cup. No one's going to pour into your cup. You need to pour into yourself.
I think that's very true. I don't know if you know that, but I talked about OvaSave as the platform that supports women, but we have also launched a fertility benefit portal.
No, I don't know about this.
Fertility is not covered by insurance. And now we are working with insurance providers to introduce fertility benefits in the workplace, where women can have access a range of services and consultations and support. And some of the companies are actually paying for fertility treatments for their employees, including egg freezing. Yeah, you're spending your life in the workplace.
That is incredible. I was just about to say, you're investing your life into this company. You're helping someone build their dream and you're putting yourself on pause.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the conversation started very often when we approach these companies by an employee saying, oh, I want to freeze my eggs, but it's not insurance covered. Can you speak to my HR? And I agree. You have to pour in your cup. You have to ask for what you deserve. You have to like push the narrative and the envelope so that there is also a shift in the way organizations, governments, insurance providers approach women's health. For example, this year in the UAE has declared that the year is the year of the family.
It's lovely.
And we've been invited by one of the government bodies to create a fertility program for universities. So there is a huge shift into like how this conversation is playing in the public space, in the workplace, just because actually women have come forward and said, I need this. and
stood up for
I'm going
themselves.
through this. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I think one thing I love about the UAE is that they care so much about the healthcare, and they care so much about women and the healthcare sector. So to put those two things together is so important. It's crazy because a lot of women, my friends, work so hard and they don't even have time to date.
Yeah.
They'll be like, I don't have time. I come home from work. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. So it's almost like work takes up so much of your time that you're not able to have a relationship to then build fertility. So it's like the workplace is giving back to you when they are doing something like that, right?
Yeah, there is, I think they finally realized that as an employee, you don't leave your problem when you step into the workplace. If you're going through something, whether it's period pain or endometriosis or PCOS or like egg freezing or IVF, this is impacting your work, your mental health, your intent to stay in the company as well. And and it's great that they're supporting their employees with those journeys, but behind those benefits are incredible tool to attract talent, to retain talent, to align your company with certain values and mission. And I think that benefits the company itself. If your company is paying for your egg freezing, I guarantee you're gonna overperform just because you love the place that you're working for.
Has building OvaSave changed the way that you think about longevity, health?
Completely. I was not so much into healthcare aside from nutrition, and again for vanity reasons. Now I'm always looking into what's coming next. You said peptides, and there is stem cells, and there are like supplements, and there is that machine I've been told about that extract the heavy metals from your blood.
Yes.
And
I haven't heard about this machine.
Yeah.
But it's the thing is it's crazy expensive.
Yeah. And there's a wait list of 1 year or something.
I haven't tried. I haven't signed up for that yet, so I don't know exactly how difficult it is to access that. But it makes you realize. In my case, since I started my entrepreneurship, the journey, the job is very demanding. It's 24 hours, 7 days a week, and I got sick way more often than I was before. I don't know if it's the vaccine, if it's just aging, but
stress.
Yeah, it takes a toll on your body also to be working so much, and you come to realize that you have to readjust your lifestyle. You remember maybe the days where you would go party, come work, and it was completely fine.
Yeah, 3 hours sleep.
Yeah.
How did I do that?
How did I do that? If I don't, different human.
Now, if I even try to go out past midnight,
Yeah.
I can't. Don't wake me up until 2 p.m. I'm done.
Honestly, different.
Yeah.
So it puts things into perspective where you have to have a balance, a routine, and now I'm looking into all of these solutions also with a bit of a grain of salt. Like sometimes people are jumping on new trends and peptides are not regulated, and it's also sometimes scary to try things on your body. But talking to doctors, what are the things that have been tested that are worth trying, and getting into these solutions, because it helps with your quality of life, but actually it also helps with fertility. I don't know if you seen, there is that show on Netflix calling the plastic detox.
Oh yes, I have. Did you know there's plastic in breast milk?
No.
So
Yeah.
So we live in a world where plastic has invaded
Everything.
food, water, cosmetics, and they'll tell you you have so much plastic in your system that it might be the reason why you're not conceiving. And even though there is not enough research behind these assumptions, when they put these couples on that plastic detox, some of them manage to conceive eventually. So it's very difficult to understand where infertility comes from, environmental factors, genetics, but obviously there is something to dig there, and being able to just to be aware of that, you're going to start changing things. In my case, I don't drink from bottled water anymore, just filter water at home so that there is no plastic in it. So I'm on that self-discovery journey, trying to find solutions that work for me, but I don't believe that what works for me works for you necessarily.
But everything helps.
Yeah.
I mean, you're taking positive steps in the right direction.
Yeah, I feel that for so long you invested in other things and education and sometimes a home and even like bags and all of that. And some of these solutions, or most of them, will not be insurance covered. And now for me, it has been the time where I want to invest in that.
Yeah, I love that. I think it's even when we learned about like gel nail polish, you know, and they were talking, and I was like, now I need to stop doing gel nail polish. Like, what do I do? But so there's like little things that we do.
I'm going bare nail now, even if it's not the best thing, unless there is an event or something. I'm like, I don't need that.
Honestly, since Ramadan, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, I removed them in Ramadan. I was like, I'm gonna go bare nails, and then this event happened, and this work shoot happened, and your nails have to be done for the shoot. I'm like, but I'm trying not to do my nails. What do you mean? You know, so. Even when you try, it's almost inevitable that there will be things in your life that you can't control. But I love that I wear makeup less, unless I'm shooting. For example, I stopped wearing makeup. You saw. I want to control the nails, the plastic bottles. You're so right about this. Even, by the way, I read that our soap, our bar soap, our shampoo, our conditioner.
But there are clean versions. I've switched to clean versions.
Exactly.
So it takes homework and discipline.
But it can be done.
Yeah.
Like, I only use natural deodorant now.
Also, she makes her own almond milk.
I make my own almond milk. Like, in my coffee, it's my own almond milk that I make.
She grinds down the almonds and has her cheesecloth and everything.
So I think that it's really beautiful that we're coming out with all these researches and that people are talking about them on platforms like this, on TikTok, on Instagram, because I was never aware of those things because I just use Dove soap and I just drink from this bottle. But long term, like you said, you find out that there's plastic in your body. There's so many things that the outside environment contributes to, like internally what's happening that's wrong, you know? So I think it's really important for us to speak about things like this because you never know until you hear it from someone else.
Yeah, and actually it's baby step. I don't think that, trying to like scare people about anything and everything, but you hear about something and you make that small change and then you're like, okay, I like my nails, but I'll be probably doing less of this. I can change my shower gel and my deodorant, and and at the end it adds up, and it's better than zero. So
it's like, what do they say? Choose your poison.
Yeah,
Choose your poison. Choose your poison. Yeah, it's so refreshing to see what you have built.
Yeah,
it's so nice to know that there is this platform out there for women to go and discover more about themselves. That you're actually impacting the world. Yeah. And you're helping people with their lives and allowing them to take the front seat of their health. And I'm just so excited for what's to come.
Thank you so much for that. I feel like, I am so excited about what we're doing and how this is changing people's and women's lives. But I found also so much help from the community, from like podcast hosts and brands, and like it's been also a discovery about how things can change and happen because of other women supporting me into that journey.
Well, I can't wait to have a fertility party.
No, I'm really being serious about this. I really want to do it.
I have goosebumps. Like, I just hope, inshallah, I have enough eggs, please. Don't make me cry. But anyways, it's fine. I'm really, really happy that we sat down with you, that we heard about your journey, about your amazing platform, that women can come and, like you said, take a hold of their life and their health. Thank you. I think there's a special place in heaven for people like you. Honestly. Genuinely, you're changing people's lives, and there's no better reward than something like that. So congratulations for such an amazing job.
Thank you so much, guys, for the support and the love you've shown me today. I'm very glad we got to meet. You're going to round up all the
There's going to be a part 2 about this. Thank you so much for tuning into the Coffee Club, and we will see you on Wednesday.